Now calm down. I know what you're thinking. Sony, how could you? This is clearly just a Sony A6300 with a flippy screen and digital stabe, which is a 45% crop, by the way. How could you do us like this? But is there fine lines to be treaded? Is this good enough for hobo scrubs? Because we don't deserve gold. We get lead. Today we test the Sony ZV-E10, the big brother to the ZV1, who actually can't do certain things that that camera can. That hurts. But is it good enough? APS-C, perfect stabe, as long as you don't move.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So I gotta be honest with you, when I first heard these specs, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, there's no IBIS in here. They didn't add anything new. It's still like the 4K, 8-bit, 24p. But usually I make fun of a camera and then I get it and try it and it's actually fun. And this thing is so small, it could be fun for vloggers. We don't need much. I was happy with the Sony X3000. That's what I was hoping this would be. The X4000. Sony, just do it already. So the Olympus EM1 III with the 12mm Tony 2, super light, best vlogging setup you can get for Micro Four Thirds, in my opinion, 736 grams. Whereas this, with the 10-18 Tony 4, a mere 594 grams. It feels like I'm not even holding anything. I'm gonna drop it. So what you've been witnessing up to this point is no active stabe whatsoever. How's that been performing? So it's just lens stabe. And that's why I'm trying to keep very still. But let's actually walk. First, let's be careful. Could you do the slow walk? Is there any jittery stuff happening? I find with the lighter bodies, like that gets exaggerated even worse. So Sony with their tiny sizes. I know all about those sizes. Huh? Let's pick it up a notch. Walk away from any nearby women who might have heard that. Is this good? I doubt it. So let's turn on the active stabe. Look at this crop. That's a significant one. That is a significant crop. The Sony A7S III has a 10% active stabe. This is 45%. I've done the math with Scientology. I zoomed in 2 different clips, matched it with a 45% ratio. I find it's very smooth if you're careful, but it's still quite jittery if you pick it up a notch. It's not like perfect. It's not GoPro stabe, even though we're at high shutter speeds. 320, that's respectable. With the Tony 4 lens on a cloudy day, we're respected. Not by that dog. He just pooed on my sandals. That's fine. But think of that. This 10mm lens, we're at 10 mils. That should be a 15mm full frame equivalent lens. It's now like a 21mm, which is still pretty wide. But this might be the only lens you can use for the system. The Tamron 11-28 or 22, I just find third-party lenses don't stabilize well. Sony knows something about active stabe. I thought that was free things. That they don't share with their competitors. They even advertised it with their 14mm 1.8. They said side by side versus the Sigma 14mm 1.8, the Sigma doesn't work as well with active stabe. I wonder why not. Oh, I guess they don't know the formula. So Sony knows. Just stay native and you'll get the best stabe. It's respectable. It's doable. It's like, thank you for putting it in there. I wish it wasn't a 45% crop. That kind of limits the lenses. Even that 14mm is going to turn into like a 30. Ouch. So a couple things to talk about, then we'll compare them versus a couple different cameras. You can't change the active stabe while recording, in case you wanted to do that. You do have to stop. That sucks. There's a 14% crop in slow motion, 120 frames. I do love that it's now one button push. Thank the heavens. I can just boom, run across the street. There's a busy one up ahead. And if you play your cards right, I might cross it. There's still that 23% crop in 30p 4K. So we're in 24p right now, and you could get wildlife footage with this thing, 4K with that crop, active stabe, digital zoom. It's got some zooms. It's interesting because you have this zoom rocker that does a 1.5 times crop in 4K, and it'll do 2 times in 1080p. But you can also zoom on this lens or both at the same time for a dramatic effect. So that's as close as you can get. That's as far away as you can get. The 1080p is still abysmal, by the way. Maybe the worst 1080p in the game. In fact, let's switch to it. It's just very soft. There's a skin smoothing effect in here. That's basically what 1080p does. It hurts. Is the stay better for some reason? It could be. And I like those odds. That's good times. Let's probably switch back out of this. Here's back in 4K with the skin smoothing effect on low. Can I change it while recording to high? Maybe I can. Yeah, high now. Is it much different? Mid, low, off, low, high. Hi to you. Are you looking to date a hero? Because that would be me. I just find it so bad because it smooths out everything, but every now and then, like, you'll see your acne reappear, and it's like, oh, that's what he really, oh God, oh wow. So don't use it ever. It's a terrible mode, Sony. It's a lie mode. Let's lie to our family. When it comes to color science, I'm not sure if they updated it to the new, like even the A7C has new color science. I know the A7S III got the Cinetone. It's beautiful, kind of, if you like green reptilian skin. I'm not sure. We're in HLG right now. I'm kind of afraid to change modes. Maybe we will do it. S-Log, anybody? Here's S-Log 3 with plus 1.3 exposure comp, converted to like airy colors, maybe black magic, maybe Canon. Whatever looked best to me. Dynamic range. Wow. We'll see if it has more dynamic range than even Micro Loser. Here's just standard colors, no exposure comp. I actually remembered to turn it down. Usually, oh man, nightmares abound. Was that some jittery shit that we just witnessed? I swear, Sony. Can we get any ton if we zoom in? There's the full zoom at 18 mil, plus that 45% crop. That's the cinema. Cinema-like. Wow. That's a busy street. How would I ever manage to cross it? There's no active stab in that slow-mo, so how did that perform? Was it amazing? And you've been having the pleasure of witnessing lav mic plugged in, but Sony thinks that they have a better solution on top with a built-in mic. So let's switch to that and see how much better it is. Okay, now we're on the built-in mic. It has a cool little wind muff top that goes in the hot shoe. I like it, it's effective, but I find when you're in the traffic, you don't want this kind of mic. This needs to be a shotgun mic built in there somehow. I don't know how you do it, but please do that. I know they have their own shotgun that slides in the hot shoe. That's not what I'm talking about. Something little, but it's pointing here and only getting this direction somehow. A mini shotgun mic built in for vloggers. That's what we need. Because then I don't have to have a lav mic tethered. I don't want to be tethered. How's that audio? Wow, it's amazing, isn't it? All right, we're back to the lav mic. We're still in standard color. Face priority exposure is on. Is that true? I find that's Sony's weakness, and I don't understand. Like, that's in the A7S III as well, but it doesn't work ever. So is it working now? Oh, it's getting there. It's trying. I think it's better. Like, that's why Canon usually looks better than Sony, because they expose for the face, whereas Sony's all about protecting the highlights. It'd be nice if we had more dynamic range. I'm not an S-Log. So last thing before we go test this against other cameras, It has a mic jack. I love that. The little flap on it feels like it's gonna break. For sure one day you will break that thing off. It's very plasticky, but the body's nice. I like the grip. It's kind of softer material than usual. A soft rubber. I like it very much. And it actually has a headphone jack. I've never felt the need. Like, I just look at the levels. I've ruined a couple takes on some videos where it's like all this wind noise. It'd be nice, but then you'd have to bring headphones. That'd be stupid. Is this better than the Olympus Sony A7S III? Let's compare them. All right, Sony, I have a series of challenges for you, starting off at the weakest opponent. Are you beating him? Because if you can't beat him, you're not looking so well. So we got the Sony on your left, ZV-E10, greatest name ever, versus a phone, just a little phone, Huawei P40 Pro. It's roughly the same cost, I think. So it's not like, oh my God, it's so much cheaper, it's a phone, but interesting. Is it obvious? Yes, I do have a black Pro Mist filter taped on there with rubber bands. You can't tape something with rubber bands. I realize that as I said it, but so we'll just do a couple comparisons with some stuff, and then I'll give you my final conclusions. Who's winning in the Stabe arena of life versus a phone? See, the phone, this has a lot of advantages, even though it looks like trash. The colors are a mixed bag of horse shit. But it has such a zoom range, and it's so much lighter, and the slow-mo is better. It's got a lot of advantages, but it looks like trash. So here you are upgrading to a mirrorless camera. You have a lens. So many options in APS-C Sony. Lots of options, especially for vlogging with the 45% crop. That is for sure. Okay, what's happening now? You have a little stronger of an opponent. He knows karate. He does know karate. Is he kicking you in the groin region right now? Or are you keeping up with the master? I switched hands. Oh, Sony's on your right now? Olympus EM1 III. It's more expensive, the Olympus, in a dumpster-like vlog. Who brings the green tones of the dumpster out? It's important. The Olympus is slightly heavier, noticeably so. Just the Stabe, probably better. I have noticed though, this does warp a little bit. There are some wavy corners. It's not like Panasonic's actually better until you put the digital on. Then it redeems itself. Whereas Sony, they're trying. It's doable. A little windy. Who does the blue dumpster better? That is interesting. We're in HLG on the Sony and log on the Olympus. Okay, now we have a bigger brother type karate master. He also knows jiu-jitsu. Are you afraid? Are you afraid of him? I want to do a couple things here. We got the Sony A7S III on your left with the G Master 14mm Tony 1.8, and you already know what you are. A loser, a tiny little loser. A lovable loser in its own way. Green dumpster tones. Cinetone on the Sony. So obviously this should be much better, more stable, everything, but I want to try this lens on you and see, both in full frame and APS-C, what is the Sony A7S III like in APS-C with its only 10% active Stabe crop versus you over there with whatever you're doing? And will it vignette so hard with that lens? Can we get active Stabe? I think we can. I think we can. Is full frame a lie right now? That is a fun looking lens. Oh wow, I'm gonna buy it. Used. Somewhere. Okay, Sony A7S III now. APS-C mode. I got 2% battery life left. I should have checked that. Part of me knew it. Part of me knew it. So, did it get wider than the last shot? And is it more stable? I said, is it? I was dropped on my head. That's why I'm allowed to vlog. Is that fantastic? And we will also test the 14mm G Master on that, because that's like one of the only options for wide angle on APS-C. Even though it's full frame, you'd never buy it. Okay, last test, and then I give you my final conclusions. We're on the ZV-E10. G Master 14mm Tony 1.8 with no stabe whatsoever anywhere. Could you just show up somewhere, start talking, don't move, and then boom. You're chilling by a dumpster, you're not walking, stable enough, there's handheld, peaceful is ours. If so, could you further test your luck by slowly walking somewhere, like a turtle would? And then is that stable enough? Or do we have to do the active stabe? Because that's pretty wide, it's nice, not bad. Ta-da! Oh, that is a crop. That is a crop and a half. But if you're careful with it, so there's no stabe in that body, it's just Sony's digital IBIS. And is it good enough? Canon was pretty good with their digital. Is this good? This is a pretty careful walk. And I am gonna pick it up a notch. All right, here's a normal walk. Is it doing it? If this is good, then congratulations on the 45% crop that I can never use any lens on. I feel like this heavier lens, though, allows it to be more stable because it's so heavy. It's thunderous, whereas too light is very micro jitter-like. So final conclusions here as we take a little look at the body. You have to understand, this is a very cheap release for Sony. It's $699, so that puts it on a Canon M50 level. I'm trying to compare it to like, oh, it's not as good as the A7S III. It's tiny cheap dollars. That little wind thing blocks everything. It blocks the on-off button. Oh, how could you, Sony? One thing I love, this is the first flippy screen where it's an entire ridge to grab. That's the easiest one I've ever seen. I love that. Thank goodness. And the bottom tripod not blocking the battery door. The SD card does go in there. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's not terrible since the tripod's so far away. So there's a couple important considerations to consider if you were thinking of buying this over another vlogging camera, say even their own ZV1. This doesn't have the stacked sensor, so you're not getting the super slow-mo with that. That can do 240 frames, 480, and 960. Do they look amazing? No, but they're fun. They're really fun, and we can't do that in here. That kind of sucks. And there's no built-in ND. I thought the whole limitation was you can't have IBIS and ND filters. This would have been a great opportunity to then have NDs in here. They didn't do it, so that hurts, but we're talking $699 price point. Sony ain't gonna give you a cake. Not for that. I absolutely love the one-button slow motion switch. Thank you so much. That makes my life so much easier. Like, no camera makes it easier than this. Getting back is a 2-button press. That's bullshit, because you have to switch back to photo mode where nobody should be. But otherwise, on the body, we have some gimmicks. The product showcase mode and the background blur. Like, these are stupid things. Thank you for them. And these straps are so... why are they there? They protrude so much. They hurt. They hurt my hand. Like, why are they sticking out of the body? They should be recessed inside, like Canon does it. These are like, no. Let's switch over to this. We're just on the A7S III in standard color, just to see the difference, if it's the same color sides. Ow. So now we're on the ZV-E10 with the 24mm 1.8 with a black Pro Mist filter and product showcase mode. Here's that hairy wind muff thing that you love. It blocks the wind and gives you amazing audio. Did you want to see it again? I love that. Here's the lens cap to the 14mm 1.8. I had it backwards, I'm sorry about that. Don't worry, I can correct it with a pen. I might do that later on. Here's my notes. Don't read my notes. Honestly, it's a fun little mode. Why doesn't my A7S III have it? That's bullshit. I gotta get a cheaper camera to have fun. So was this camera designed for vlogging? Not really. It is recycled parts. It's an A6300 with a flippy screen and digital stabe. That's what it is, but that's much better than an A6300 and it's cheaper. So it's doable. Like the Stabe, it's not amazing. For that crop, it's a huge price to pay for not a lot to gain, but it's totally doable if you're careful. It's just you still see the jittery stuff. It does happen, and that totally limits your lens uses. Like you have the 10 to 18, there's really not much else you can do. The Tamron 11 to 20, that probably won't behave as well, but like you're very limited. With a 45% crop, there were two lenses. I just sold my Per Gear 12mm Tone 2 for Sony. That would have been perfect to test if it was good enough, but it was manual focus, it sucked. You might be able to get away with that Laowa 9mm Tone 2.8 or the Zeiss Tuit 12mm Tone 2.8, but you don't get many choices. But without active Stabe, for just a sit-down video like this, there's plenty of lenses with the Sigma Trio. This one's not bad so far, from what I see. Black Pro Mist on there. It's decent. I wouldn't mind a S-Cinetone in here, just because Sony Color Science is a bit of a laughingstock, but most people appreciate S-Cinetone, so just have that in everything. Like, don't make it a cinema exclusive thing, just put it in. So that's our Sony colors, S-Cinetone. You have that, Canon? No, you don't. Good dynamic range. I don't mind the standard, it's just very low dynamic range. And the battery life could be better. I set it up in the menus and it took 25% of the battery, just setting everything up the way I wanted. I was like, wow. But like doing that whole video from 100% to 55% yesterday. So you can get by. I wish just if they had a bigger body with a bigger battery and an ND filter back there, then they'd be trying. This is clearly recycled camera parts, but a decent job for the price. We're on the Zeiss 55mm 1.8 to end off the video, so not bad for a budget option. Do I wish they tried a little harder? Yeah, I do, but not bad for you hobos. Am I gonna rush out to buy one? Maybe for my grandmother when she starts her channel. If you are looking for a smaller than micro four thirds size sensor camera to vlog with, which is what this is with the Stabe, 2.175 times crop with the APS-C times the Stabe, then you got it. You got it. It's better than the M50, better than the ZFC. I would get it if I had no money. So what do you think? Affiliate links down below. They may not be there now, but eventually I will update this video with the pinned comment down there. You buy it through my link. Thank you so much. I'm gonna leave after you buy a Camera Conspiracies t-shirt. Subscribe for more videos and I'll see you on the next one.